You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Team Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Pretty Little Liars After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Pretty Little Liars After Show.
What's up, everybody? Bing is for doing, and we're back doing Pretty Little Liars After Show. Into the deep tonight, and lots of water talk. Lots of water talk. I am your host, Kelly, and hanging out with me.
Hey, it's Stephanie again. How's it going?
Hi, guys. I'm Kay.
Lots and lots of stuff going on tonight, and Cece's back in the mix. Do we really think Cece's the one to be afraid of?
I'm not sure. I think for some reason I can't help but think that Melissa has a lot to do with it, more than Cece.
Okay. You don't think Melissa's afraid of Cece, too?
I don't think Melissa's afraid of Cece. I think Cece might be afraid of Melissa.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm still in the Cece not being so great camp. I think that she has an ulterior motive, and we see her for a second, then she goes away, and we don't know what she's doing.
Right.
But we keep hearing her name coming up. And I know Pretty Little Liars is not that show that normally gives it to you quite so straight up, but she has to be involved in some capacity.
Right. And that's what I keep thinking, that it's a little too easy for it to be Cece. But then again, what if that's the point? They want to make it that easy so we won't think it's her.
Yeah.
That could be.
Or involved in some capacity working for someone.
Well, she's definitely involved. I've always thought that. Well, I mean, I say definitely, but in my mind, she's definitely involved because she's just always been not quite right. There's always been something a little weird, and I think that she was the one that kind of led Allie astray in the very beginning, because I think she latched onto her because of her weird situation at home, and Cece, why was Cece friends with her in the first place? That whole thing is weird. She was too old to be friends with Allison.
That's what I can't figure out. Yeah, is all these girls, there's another team of these four are this age group, and then there clearly was the Melissa, Cece, whatever, and I feel like they're in a lot of ways causing the torment that we're seeing now for these girls.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there definitely was a reason that Cece had Allie around in the first place, to teach her all these devious ways, and I guess we're seeing it all kind of come to light.
I just think they have a really united front, Melissa, Shana, Jenna, because we've seen them in prior episodes where they've been planning. So we know Jenna was the one who was with North, what was his name? Nate.
Oh, the guy, yes. Yeah.
So, we know that Jenna is in some way tied to him, and he mentioned Cece's name. So I feel like they're putting up a united front and making, they've agreed that, okay, if anything happens, the person we're going to give up is Cece, because we haven't really seen Cece in their group.
Right. Yeah, we've never really seen them all hang out together, so we don't, from what we've seen, they're not friends. So there's definitely either, so one side's fearing the other, it looks like.
The term that always comes to mind with them seems to me like frenemies. They probably are not truly friends and not supportive of each other, but somehow have exactly that united force and are using it now to do whatever to these girls. And we always talk about with the younger set of girls that they don't communicate well. And I wonder if that's kind of the same issue that these older girls have, or is it that they're so connected in that it is that one?
Well, I think there seems to be bad communication all the way around.
Definitely.
Yeah, in all senses.
Me and Rosewood, they can't communicate.
No. Well, communication is a tough skill to master.
It is.
Looks like
I agree.
nobody's doing a good job about it.
It's like playing the broken telephone. By the time it reaches the person it needs to get to, it's completely destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a completely different, convoluted story than the way that it started.
Yeah.
So what do we think about this Mona confession? Well, she gets herself back in Radley. Was that her plan? Just to kind of get Ashley out on bail, have a little bit of doubt there, and then get back into Radley for some reason?
I feel like she needs to get on Hannah's good side, but not only Hanna, but the girls, because the story revolves around them. You know, as we all know. So, you know, going back into Radley, I think she's going to use that to make everyone think, you know, she's going in, she's going to get treatment. But in reality, I really think that was her playing the piano at the end. I think that was like her first escape.
Oh, you think?
Back out of Radley.
Okay.
You know, because...
To mess with Toby some more?
I mean, there is a plan she's carrying out,
Well,
obviously, by turning herself in.
And she was. It looked like she was happy to be in Radley.
Yes.
And especially in that, you know, back in room, you know, that room 217.
And, you know, who knows if this has anything to do with the doctor,
Ren, right?
not Ren, the one
The psychologist?
Spencer went back to ask questions about Toby's mom. I forgot his name.
Oh, like a week ago.
The helper.
Oh, you mean the orderly?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I feel like maybe Spencer and him talk too much and he may have revealed too much information. Now she's back at Radley to take care of and finish business there as well. I mean, I'm just like thinking of everything.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
I'm throwing it out to see what sticks.
Yeah.
Well, we see Ren is back next week.
Yes, in the preview for
Yes.
next week, you see that he's coming back, and there's always been something super shady about him and his connection with everything. And the one little clip that we hear on the preview is, "We've got a problem." So what could he possibly mean? Whose side is he on?
I mean, you have to assume that. I feel like he's now. I don't know. He's such a hard one. I was going back and forth about it.
I'm telling you, he and Dr. Sullivan are in cahoots. This whole thing, they've been working together.
Well, you are like putting Dr. Sullivan like before.
I know, she's like never coming back, and I swear it's all her. Yeah. Now I think Pastor Ted did it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Pastor Ted, that was another crazy situation.
But I think
going back to Ren,
it has something to do with Mona going back into Radley. I think that's why Ren is coming back into the picture. Well, him and Mona had a pretty tight friendship there because he wouldn't give up a lot of information about Mona to Spencer. It was like, that's my patient.
I'm wondering if Mona's going back because she knows that, like, she wants to figure out what's going on with Toby's mother. I don't know if that's, like, something she's interested in, but that's, like, what...
I'm assuming she already knows. Like, that's what I would think, that she already knows. I mean, she's been on this A team for a while. She must know pretty much the ins and outs of what's been going on since this whole thing started, I would assume, because she's been in it from the get-go. She was the one that was the outcast from the start. So I think she invested so much into that she must have a lot more secrets than she's letting on. I mean, she's definitely rationing them out bit by bit to her benefit, which I guess in her position, I mean, she really, how else could she play it, you know?
So true. Yeah, it's interesting, though, because she seems kind of too happy to be back in a mental hospital. There has to be something that she wants to get from being there. Like, no one would be just like, oh, I'm back here and this is amazing. Yeah. So,
well, even the phone calls she makes to Hanna, just, did your mom get out okay? You're welcome. You know?
It's a little too much. It's like... She really wants Hanna to be like best friends with Hanna again.
Does she really, or did they just need Ashley to be out for a second to do more harm to that whole situation? Because once she's in jail for the rest of her life, it's kind of done, right? What else can they do to her? So it's kind of, you know, like taunting. Let's take her back out and see what else we can do. I mean, maybe it's that. I can't find it in me right now to believe that Mona really seriously just wants to be friends with her and do a nice thing.
I think she has an ulterior motive, but she also, I think, does genuinely want to be friends with Hanna. She just may not know the right way to go about it, or she has all this other stuff going on, so she could never really be her friend. But I think she does want it at the end of the day. Like, why would you do all of this unless, you're right, there's some really awful purpose to it?
Well, yeah, because it goes back to why would she do it in the first place?
Yeah, I can't agree with you on that.
It's fine. I'll be the person who believes in friendship. I'm okay with that.
2 seconds later, she's like, no, I take that back.
No, I will stick with my. I know that she has ulterior motives, but I want her to also want the friendship. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to want the best in from people.
I do. Half glass full. It's all good.
Okay.
I think Mona has a lot planned out than she's letting, out for people to know. So this was part of the plan. I kind of feel like turning herself in was part of the plan too. It's just she happened to get on, Hannah's good side to use that, towards whatever she's going to need it for to get the girls to believe in her and accept her. And who knows if she wasn't, using Hanna from the very beginning, because she wasn't in the crowd. She might have been, on the A team from way back into, the days where she was an outcast and no one really wanted to hang out with her.
But wasn't Hanna always her friend though until she lost weight and got a little bit more popular? That's when they started drifting. I mean, wasn't that kind of how it happened?
I think they teased her when she was heavy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, she and Mona were kind of like together in that sense and both kind of outcasts. And then when Hanna kind of shifted over into the, popular kid crowd, I think that's when their relationship got strained, right?
Well, I really want to see a flashback to before, everyone was hanging out with Allie. I want to see where everyone was and what they were doing.
Because this whole thing with Allison kind of brought them all stronger together, because they really all were friends with Allie, but not necessarily all such good friends with each other.
But how did that friendship, how did that bond grow so close?
Yeah, well, because now they're all trying to save themselves from getting murdered. So it's like they all have to bond together.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the strange thing. And I've always kind of wondered, like, if you go with the scenario that you think that Allison is possibly still alive and, playing this game and doing all of that, it's interesting to think, like, why would she do that? Because what's happening is, as much tragedy that's going on, it's really kind of pulling certain forces together more so than it was before. And I wonder if that kind of has something to do with the way things go. It's like, with the bad, here's the good, if you look at the other side of the coin. It's just kind of an interesting thing to watch when you kind of pull away and look at all the pieces of the puzzle.
That could be it. I mean, we've seen family dynamics. I mean, we've seen families coming closer now.
Right.
A lot of people being accepted, Emily opening up her family, not accepting it at first, but at the end, it's their daughter. They love her and they're going to accept her for who she is. And
really trying to do the best for her when it comes to school and with her injuries and like everything that's going on. And I think, even Hanna and her mom have gotten a little bit closer, and I don't know, even like Hannah's dad coming into the picture a little bit.
Well, Aria's parents splitting up, even though it was a bad thing, but they're happy.
Yeah.
They're happy not being
they're still
together
kind of like
fighting.
MIA a little bit, but
I like that. I like
seen them in a couple weeks now.
Yeah. I don't know. It could totally be way
Jake
off. It's
is
just,
here.
Yes, Jake is here to save the day. Yes, let's talk about Jake. What do you think about Jake?
I like him.
I do like Jake. I like the dynamic with him and Aria. I like that. I don't know. I want to trust him. I want to feel like he really is kind of a third party that has nothing to do with anything that's going on. And
although I was suspicious when he was walking back and Jenna was in the water, I was like, what were you doing over there?
Right.
Yeah.
But, he did really seem shocked when he saw everything and he saw Aria's reaction on her face. Like, I can't believe you're going through all of that.
Yeah,
I did see that he was genuine in his facial expression, that he was shocked.
I don't know.
See,
I'm kind of torn half and half on that.
I want to, again, tonight I'm going to be the person who believes these people. Next week I'll totally change my mind. But I feel like he's genuine, that, like, when he was talking about how crazy her life was on the couch, like, it didn't seem like he was trying to hide something or that he knew secrets. Like, Ezra knows so much, and like there's other people that I definitely question in the Pretty Little Liars world. But with him, he seems like just a nice guy who's trying to protect her.
But then when you think about what he said, it might be nice to let somebody else like navigate. Where are you trying to navigate her to? Like, which direction are you trying to pull her?
I mean, I just
where
took
do
that.
you want to turn her?
Well, I think he was going based off of Aria's comment that she made. So he's like, you know, you don't always have to be.
But free falling doesn't necessarily need navigation. I'm just saying, like it's you know, she
Just makes her she
it's like
lands
catch
smoothly.
me. You don't have to navigate me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just you know being skeptical of everyone, but I don't know. I want to believe that he is the good guy that really is going to kind of calm her and help her and kind of be her Caleb. I think that would be nice. I don't think Ezra had it in him to do that.
No.
I don't feel like he was a protector enough. Like he was kind of a little bit too.
Well, even tonight we saw that Ezra was still jealous. Like when
Yeah.
I hate that stare.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. Like, really? You're having a conversation. Stick to that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he loves her, obviously. He does. It's just a bad, you know, their relationship just isn't, you know, nearly what it was. And I just feel like I like their dynamic better because, like I said, it just feels stronger. I feel like he's a better protector. He just feels more.
Well, I
don't know.
think
Just
because
feels
he
better.
doesn't have that dynamic of being her teacher and being her boyfriend, he's able to just be there for her. He's not trying to hide her or hide their relationship.
But not even so much that. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But even just like personality-wise, Ezra's just so much more kind of like, he's not very aggressive. He doesn't seem to be like a protector type. You know, you just never really see him like the person to kind of jump in front of you. Like I've never gotten that from him. I'm sure he would do whatever he could to, you know, to be there for Aria and to say whatever. But even as much as like sticking up for her to his parents and really kind of standing and just kind of getting in front of something, I've just never really seen him do that.
No, I completely agree with that. And I feel like his personality is the type where he, you know, he was very, I don't want to say judgmental, but everything was doubtful for him.
And he's so much more soft-spoken. Like that's just even when, you know, Mike's teammate was, you know, talking bad to Aria in the locker room and he's standing there, he still doesn't even say anything. He just kind of walks away.
He looks confused.
He doesn't even, he obviously knows that there's something bad going on. He doesn't, you know, is everything okay here? And he just looks at this kid and that's it. I can't imagine if that had happened and Jake had been there that he would have just kind of like walked away. I think he would have said something.
I think Ezra maybe has all these emotions that Jake has, but he internalizes it all.
Right.
And like deals with it quietly, like in like at his apartment with Aria. Like he'll talk about it with her kind of behind closed doors rather than, you know, be outward and look like that quote unquote protector.
Yeah, it's just a different personality. It's just the complete opposite, I think. That's all. But I mean, I don't think it diminishes how much he cares for her or anything like that. I think it's just different ways that they handle it.
But I think now that there is someone else, you know, another person in her life, you're able to see, you know, compare the two, because before we only had Ezra and we only saw them two together, and we only, you know, you had nothing to compare to and see, you know, well, that's kind of odd, you know, how he's acting or, you know, what he's saying. But now that you have Jake and you see, you know, that he has a calming personality and he's able to.
But it's still very strong at the same time.
It is, yes. And you could see Aria completely change in this episode where she just like, I don't want to say let loose, but she was able to put her guard down and say, okay, you know, I'm going to let you lead me.
Yes, which that was kind of nice to see that.
That, and I also felt like it was the first time we had seen her really be kind of a teenage girl about her relationship.
Yeah.
Like, she always tried to be so mature with Ezra and like everything's fine and you know, and hide it. And with this, she was like at a party being jealous, and that's high school. You know what I mean?
I thought it was cute.
Well, because she's able to act her age. With Ezra, she wasn't. Remember how one of those episodes where they went to the bar and, you know, she's really trying to impress his friend and, you know, act like a grown-up and an adult because she's not a kid. And, you know, I feel like if she were to have said what she told Jake tonight about being jealous, that Ezra would have looked at her like, really? Like, you're acting like a high school girl, which she is.
Right.
But with Jake, it's natural. And Jake's like, well, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how jealous were you?
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
How jealous were you?
That's why I want to believe that he's good. So for the time being, he's a total third party, and we're going to let him come in and protect her for a little while.
Don't burst my bubble.
I know. I'm just
We
saying.
have, what, 3 more episodes this season, so I hope they don't burst the bubble before.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's getting crazier and crazier with everything going on. But it was Emily's birthday, and of course, for Emily's birthday, she gets a half-dead body in the lake. Like, what's going on with that? Every time
just
we
the
turn around.
creepiest.
You know, I really did think it was Spencer from the
I
last
did too.
preview.
Yeah, I did too. It did not look like
I
Jenna
did
at
not
first at all when they
expect
flipped it
Jenna
over.
at all.
With her eyes open, like how creepy.
Yeah.
But thankfully, she's okay. Like she lives.
Well, they said she was unconscious in the
Unconscious.
hospital?
She
In
was
the
still
hospital.
unconscious,
In the hospital.
but she's, you know, she seems like she's gonna pull through. So we'll see.
Shauna and her are a couple, or
Well, I don't think we really know at this point. I mean, it kind of looks like there's something a little bit extra, but we don't know for
Yeah,
sure.
there was definitely a flirtation.
Yeah.
There.
Well, I think it's a little bit stronger on Shauna's part. Do you
Yeah.
think? I mean, that's the way it seems to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Or maybe a good friendship. I don't know. It was hard to tell tonight for sure.
yeah, I mean, it could definitely just be BFFs. But I think there was something that alluded to the fact that it was a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, and if you really think about it, you know, Jenna has been through a lot, and we really don't know too much about kind of what's going on in her life and on her side, and if she really is the bad guy we always portray her as, or
Yeah, she's one.
maybe she really is a victim too.
she seemed really weak in this episode. You know, in the prior episodes, we've seen her where the girls were scared of her.
Yeah.
When she was walking down the hallways, you know, they would hide and run away from her, not to, you know, even come close to her or cross her path. But now she seems really, really scared, and I'm wondering what is going on.
Well, she genuinely seems to be really scared of someone.
Scared and didn't want to be without Jenna. I don't know if that was to.
Oh, without Shauna?
Without
Yeah.
Shauna. Yeah. Like she was.
Well, I mean, and as soon as she was left alone, look what happens. I mean, that's terrifying to always have to be constantly looking over your shoulder. And when Emily pulls her out of the lake and says that, you know, somebody must have hit her because her head was bleeding, like, that's terrible.
That's a scary. I mean, scary.
You know, and when, you know, it cuts back to Paige and they're talking about it, it kind of makes you wonder, like, was Paige involved at all? Because we've always been a little bit skeptical of her. She's had kind of a weird relationship with everyone, and she had, you know, something, you know, kind of a negative relationship with Allie, which we had seen. But kind of her rationalization of it, and Emily gets a little bit upset, but, you know, maybe she fell in.
Yeah, she seemed to brush it off completely.
Yeah.
That was kind of the sense that I had of it, was that she, whether she was involved or not, she didn't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
My question was, why would you invite Shauna? Knowing how much Emily despises her, knowing, you know, the fear that...
But they are friends, though.
Shauna
and Paige, remember?
Yeah, but it's Emily's birthday party.
I know.
It's
but they're
not
on this,
your
but
birthday
it's the swim team.
Yeah, but, you know, it's kind of like a slap in the face for Emily when, you know, technically I feel like Shauna did take her place on the swim team because Emily's not swimming anymore.
Right.
And, you know, there's that whole competition going on between them and getting accepted. And, you know, we see that episode where Emily is so scared of Shauna walking into the lockers when she's changing. And I'm sure she's told Paige. I'm sure Paige knows about it. And my first reaction is, why would you invite her? I don't care if she's on the swim team.
I mean, I agree with you initially, but I think that the whole team was there, and she probably didn't want to make like a point of not inviting her, just in like.
Well, I think that's maybe why she said the coach is going to be there too. It's like a whole team thing, so maybe it wasn't necessarily. I don't know.
But I mean,
let's give her the benefit of the doubt. I don't think she would intentionally be mean to invite somebody that Emily doesn't like. It was probably kind of everybody was going to be there, so you can't exclude one person and not. And they're friends.
True,
you know, she and Shauna are friends, and it's her house. So I've been in situations plenty of times where people invite people I don't like to come and hang out with me.
Wow, Kellie has a story.
Does it end up like AIDS?
And it's okay. You know. So I don't know. So maybe it's not, you know, I don't think it was necessarily a malicious thing in that sense. I don't. But I just thought it was a little bit weird how she brushed off the whole like Jenna situation.
Absolutely. That seemed like a strange...
Well, even like the pushing with the swim coach on Emily. I mean, Emily was obviously not happy about that. And that's a lot of pressure.
And we don't see the swim coach showing up.
No, the swim coach never showed up.
Was that just a reason to get Shana and Jenna to come to the
Maybe
lake
the
house?
girls asked her to invite them so they could talk to Jenna. Maybe that was the thing. Maybe Aria and Spencer did.
But did they look surprised to see them at the party?
I don't think so. I didn't know. I didn't think that.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get that either because I think they were expecting them. So maybe they did have her ask.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah. It's there's always so much going on. Like, you know, I got to go back and watch it again. But the whole swim coach situation, it's hard on Emily. I think she does want to swim, but she's, you know, going through her own internal struggles, and to have pressure come from Paige, I think is hard to handle.
Yeah, I completely agree. But what I really enjoyed about that storyline tonight was that it's a realistic portrayal amidst all this craziness that is Pretty Little Liars. It was kind of a realistic portrayal of what happens in your senior year of high school, which is, are you going to stay together? Are you breaking up? Where are we going? What are we doing? And I think that's a story that every kind of couple in high school deals with.
Absolutely.
And that was kind of, they did a really nice job, I thought, of.
I think so too. I think she was pushing her. She doesn't want to lose her. She wants her to be with her at Stanford. They were excited about it when they initially first talked about it. It was a really cute situation. You know, bad things happen. Now it's not going to happen. And, you know, Paige really loves her and doesn't want to lose her.
You can tell Paige was starting to plan for the future for the two of them. Like, she had the dorm room, if you recall from an earlier episode. She'd, like, started planning the dorm room. And I think seeing that that's not a reality anymore is crushing her. I mean, that's what you were seeing tonight.
But plus, Emily's realizing, you know, with everything going on in her life with her mom and, you know, the house, and having to take, in a way, some sort of responsibility and stepping up to help her mom, that she really needs to concentrate on herself.
Yeah, I mean, and it definitely is a realistic situation. And what happens when you go off to college and you go to different places, or one of you goes, one of you stays, it's a hard thing. Long distance relationships are very hard to deal with, especially when you're young. It doesn't make it any easier. Yeah. And that was a very realistic conversation that they had. And, you know, and Emily is her character. I like her character in the way that she's just always like real. Like, let's face facts here. This is the way it's going to be. And not that she doesn't care, but she's a realist. And she's, you know, trying to prepare herself that they're not going to be together next year. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. A lot can happen between now and then, but. Yeah,
and they haven't, like, decided to break up or anything, so we don't know. Maybe they will try
to work it out and figure it out.
The long distance thing or what have you, but.
I mean, if she takes the year off, she can go visit, right?
Right, exactly.
But she's going to volunteer for the summer, right?
Well, maybe if they could afford it, because there is that financial situation if her mom loses her job, and then they have the house that they're having to rebuild. And I mean, there's a lot going on in Emily's house, and it's not really that easy for her to really make any decisions, I don't think. So I think that it just kind of adds the extra pressure that she internalizes a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like Emily is definitely feeling pressure not only from her family now, but kind of she feels divided between the family and what Paige wants. And it's...
Well, and what she wants, too.
Exactly.
I mean, I think she's being a little... I think it really bummed her out that the coach didn't know already that she had an injury, because I think she was getting pumped up and feeling, okay, well, he knows, he can do this. And then once he found out, it was a little bit of a different story. So I think that was a bit of a letdown.
Well, I think she thought that Paige had come up with the solution for her.
Right.
Like, that this was a way she could swim and do everything that she needed to do.
And it kind of was.
I actually, when it first came up in the episode, I was like, actually, that's like a really smart idea. Take the year to heal. It seems like a great idea. And realistically, if her injury is as bad as they're saying it is, it might take longer than that.
Yeah, but at least, you know, working at it. I mean, and I get where she was coming from, and I think it's a good idea in theory. Yeah. But I mean, it's discouraging because it's not easy, and only a small percentage of people come out of it in the way that she needs to come out of it. So. Yeah. But I mean, who's to say she can't be part of that? You know, small percentage. You never know.
Exactly, or find another role, like big coaching or what have you on it.
But that was a pretty normal kind of relationship interaction, which is not something we usually see in these episodes. So I really liked to see that.
Yeah, I thought that was really...
While Caleb's trying to sell his car to get Hannah's mom out of jail. Yeah. You know, they're having like real
I felt really bad because I feel like he's had to take and step into being the man of the house, you know, for Hanna and Ashley. And it's sad. I was really heartbroken to
Well, I wonder
find
what they're
out.
going to do when he goes off to Ravenswood.
Well,
Ted.
I was gonna say there's a new guy in town.
No, I mean, I was really heartbroken to find out that Hannah's dad did not help out.
I know. I figured as soon as she was telling, you know, Ted, I don't need faith, I need money.
Yeah.
I figured he was going to do something.
As soon as I saw him there, like she was on the phone and he was there, I was just like, oh, he's going to scoop in and help. Like, it didn't even take them having the conversation. It was more that for me. I was just like, oh, we know who's helping. And he kind of wants to be, and I felt like this before with him, he wants to be that father figure to Hanna that she clearly doesn't have with her biological
and
father.
I like that he did that. And, you know, in his comment, don't run, I have a lot riding on you. $100,000. But I like their relationship, and I think it's that at least I hope he's, you know, somebody good for Ashley to kind of calm them down a little bit. And
well, he brought over pie, so step one.
And dinner the next
and he
night.
wants to bring dinner the next night. And I like how he includes Hanna, and he really did try to call. We find out that he tried to call her, you know, a few times to check on her, and that's nice because he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't have to.
No, I mean,
So
he has
that's a
no
nice-
obligation. I believe, didn't Ashley basically end things with him, essentially?
Yeah.
And so he has no obligation to be there at all, and he's stepping back in, and he paid for her bail, which is a huge thing.
Absolutely.
But I feel like he knows a lot more than he lets believe that he does.
Well, I think that there's more to his story that I'm anxious to find out more about, because we really don't know too much about his past or where he came from or how he ended up there or what his whole deal is. And
I kind of want to know his connection to Wilden. I don't know why. I feel like there's something there. There's like, like whether he had a disagreement with Wilden himself or what has gone on.
But wasn't he trying to figure out who was bothering Ashley? Remember, he was trying to put the puzzle together,
Well,
and
I wonder
he
if he
knew there
did.
was someone. He just didn't know who it was. But I remember one time they even they were walking in front of the police station, and Wilden was out. And I want to say he found out Ashley told him something, but I could be wrong. Our viewers have to let us know from the prior episodes.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's interesting to see, and I definitely want to know more about Ted and kind of his whole thing. Because from the very beginning when we first met him, it was kind of a little weird, and then the thing with Caleb's dad and the bell being switched out, and I don't know, and then the cell phone and the casket, and all these different things that have happened at the church. And
this is just me like thinking aloud. He was talking about how it was okay that she had thought of killing him, or she could have killed him. Killed Wilden.
Well, he said everyone has their limit.
Everyone has their limits, right? So what's his limit?
Right.
Like, how was he?
Maybe he did it.
Right?
I'm telling you.
Well, see-
That's the first thing I said when we saw it. Pastor Ted did it.
Yeah. Like, I was just like, okay, because you
I
start
don't
thinking
know.
about limits and where is his, and it could get.
I don't know.
He could get scary quickly.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe maybe Cece's his daughter, and that's how this whole thing starts.
I mean, we could go really dark with
Yes,
this.
we could. We could take it to a really dark place.
Dr.
They promised
Sullivan's
us we were
husband.
gonna, right? Exactly.
Ex-husband. That's why he's back
Yes.
in Rosewood.
Dr. Sullivan, I knew you were in it. But that takes us to. I totally lost my train of thought now. Now I'm just thinking about Dr. Sullivan. But definitely, guys, go to iTunes. Please download our podcast, rate and comment. Let us know what you think about Ted. Do you think he's a good guy, bad guy? What about Jake? What do you think about Aria and Jake? We love to hear your theories and comments, and we were getting some good ones on Twitter today. About
Absolutely.
secret passageways under the De Laurentiis house when we see Redcoat, opening gates and going in secret places. I mean, what's going on?
I love reading all of our Twitter and like YouTube comments. It just makes me so happy.
I know. There's a lot of great stuff. I think one of the funniest quotes was from Aria tonight, where she says Jenna's back and she's walking into walls.
Yeah. Yes, that was amazing.
I still don't get how her sight goes in and out.
I don't understand that either.
But then she says, I see what I need to see.
I think that was a defense mechanism.
Well, yeah, but it's just weird. I mean, and I don't know like what her whole like thing is, but I think
but
it's just kind
wasn't it the
strange.
surgery? They said, it
good
might
days
or
and
might
bad
not
days.
work.
Yeah.
Well, if she says she'll have good days and bad days, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. So maybe it's just not completely gone, but
Or she can sense things. Like,
maybe.
I don't know. I'm not sure that
I
it's,
don't know.
sight in
I don't
the
know.
way.
I have a little bit of more of a soft spot for Jenna tonight, seeing that more vulnerable side of her.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know more about what she knows and kind of what she's so afraid of.
But it's going to be interesting seeing Toby and her interact, and Spencer being, in the mix of all that, and Shana, to see how Jenna accepts that. If Jenna's going to be okay with Spencer being around the hospital, or she's going to kick her out and not want her around at all.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, another person that I felt kind of bad for tonight was Ezra, with Maggie throwing the curveball of leaving.
Going to Washington and
Yeah.
taking Malcolm, and now she doesn't even want him to stay with Ezra while she goes to look for an apartment. I mean, she's got to take care of him.
I agree, but it was just sad because he just kind of came into
Yeah.
his life.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough situation, and we'll see if he's going to kind of force a relationship there to keep Malcolm. I mean, that could be something.
I was going to say, is he going to fight for custody? Like, is he going
Maybe.
to take Maggie to court?
Well, maybe that'll be, I think one of the theories that we got was that it's, Malcolm's really not his, that maybe Maggie cheated in high school and just said it was his to get the money from his family. I don't know.
question.
It's a good question. I guess we'll
Yeah.
find out to see how bad Ezra really wants to keep Malcolm and Rosewood. I don't know.
Definitely.
Lots of good stuff. We have 2 episodes until the summer finale, which is got to be good.
Exciting.
That's when we're going to find out who Redcoat is at the end.
I'm so excited. Like, that's just going to be the best. Finding out who Redcoat is, I feel like we've been talking about it for so long.
I know. We're building it up so much. It's totally going to be Cece. I don't know, but you have some news and gossip?
I do.
Awesome.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we've talked about it before. Lucy Hale is, of course, the beauty ambassador for Avon's Mark line, which is like the teenage, younger generation line that they do. And she just made a PSA for the company, speaking out against dating abuse and partner violence, which is something that company has been very involved with. I believe they have pieces that, go to...
The proceeds go to benefit that.
Exactly. And also... Lucy Hale believes that Aria and Ezra will end up together. She told HollywoodLife.com that they won't be together for a while, and you have to kind of wait for this Jake thing to play out, and they have great chemistry, and how much she enjoys kind of working on a different relationship because they've been doing Aria and Ezra for so long, but she thinks in the end, that they're meant to be together.
Well, I think Jake might toughen Ezra up a little bit. May kind of force him to kind of be a little bit more vocal and kind of fight for the love of his life.
And with Maggie and Malcolm gone out of the picture.
I was thinking that watching that tonight. I could definitely see a change. It will be nice for me at least to see a change in Ezra's personality, have him be a little bit rougher.
And she'll be graduated, so.
I was gonna say maybe like more public with the relationship, which would be a really nice change for her. I think she's ready for that.
Yeah, that's good. Anything else? All right, well, let's get into predictions, even though we've kind of said a little bit of it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh, it's different.
Exciting.
All right, so Cece's Pastor Ted and Dr. Sullivan's daughter. No, I'm just kidding.
And Redcoat is Melissa.
Yeah, with a blonde wig.
That is the series finale of Pretty Little Liars.
All right, seriously, what do you guys think?
I'm gonna go with my Aria and Ezra, stick on that. I think that Ezra is going to get into a custody fight. I kind of alluded to it earlier. And what's going to end up happening is that Aria is going to come in and kind of be a character witness, I guess you could say, for him and fight for that and try to be like, in his corner in some capacity, even if she's still with Jake.
Okay.
I'm going to say Melissa is Redcoat.
Okay. All right. Well, going off of yours, I'm going to say that Aria is going to try to be a good character witness, but then Maggie's going to turn it because everywhere Aria goes, somebody dies. She's going to kind of use that against him.
Yeah.
And because he associated with a teenager and like all that, I think if he does fight, like that would all come out and be a bad thing for him.
Yeah.
So I hope I hope they figure it out before it gets that ugly, because I could see that going in a very, very bad direction.
Yeah. Any predictions on Redcoat?
I don't know. I change my mind every time. I don't know.
It has to be someone tall. We could see the person is tall.
I definitely have.
So
Well,
Mona's definitely out of the picture.
yeah, because even in heels, she's not that tall.
Yeah.
It looked like
know. I would honestly love for it to be someone we haven't even met yet.
that's what I think. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be someone completely different, someone we don't even know, and it's
It's gonna be like somebody's sister or ex-girlfriend or like something random.
Or someone we saw like on the train briefly, where you just are like, oh, it was that person from, because that's what Pretty Little Liars
maybe it's
does.
Aria's dad's mistress. Like maybe it's her.
yes.
For a while, we had thought she was involved
Yeah.
in some way, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Or what about Ezra's ex-girlfriend? Remember that's the
Oh, the professor? Or-
yes,
Oh,
the one that was invited to her house, and
yeah. There's a
she
lot.
went off really quietly. I was thinking
I
she
would
was
like
gonna
it to be somebody that we haven't met yet. I think it would be kind of more fun that way.
It would be really interesting,
Yeah.
and then to have that play out
Yeah.
as to who that person is and
don't
why
know.
they were tormenting the girls.
So many different ways this could go. We only have a few more episodes left. Please make sure to join us next week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we love to hear your comments and theories. So please go to iTunes and YouTube and leave us some comments, and follow us at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter. And you can follow me at Kellie with an IE 079.
And you can follow me at Stephanie Wenger.
You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at RealEmmaKate.
See you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.